The following program is rated G. It is suitable for all audiences.
Rizal's life in Brussels. On January 28, 1890, Rizal left Paris for Brussels, which is the capital of Belgium. The two reasons why he left Paris are: the cost of living in Paris is very high because of the international exposition, and the gay social life of the city hampered his literary works. Rizal was accompanied by Jose Albert, where they lived in 38 Rue Philippe Champagne, which was run by the two Jacobi sisters, Adelina and Nelly. Later, Jose Albert left the city, and it was replaced by Jose Alejandrino, an engineering student. Aside from writing its chapters, he wrote articles for La Solidaridad and letters to his family and friends. Rizal's articles in La Solidaridad. Graciano Lopez Haina was the founder of La Solidaridad. In order to have an organ of the propaganda, which Rizal used two pen names, Limasalang and Laong Laan. His splendid articles, which appeared in La Solidaridad from 1889 to 1890, were the following. Rizal criticizes Filipinos in Madrid for gambling. Juan Luna and Valentin Ventura, the two compatriots, sent a news to Rizal that the Filipinos in Spain were destroying the good name of their nation by gambling too much. On May 28, 1890, Rizal wrote a letter to Marcelo H. del Pilar to remind the Filipinos in Madrid that they did not come to Europe to gamble, but to work for their fatherland's freedom. Bad news from home. Rizal received a news from home that makes him worried. The Calamba agrarian trouble was getting worse. The management of the Dominican hacienda continually raised the land rates until such time that Rizal's father refused to pay his rent. The Dominican order filed a suit in court to dispose the Rizal family of their lands in Calamba. Pasiano and the brothers-in-law Antonio Lopez, husband of Narcisa, and Silvestre Ubaldo, husband of Olympia, were deported to Mindoro. Another brother-in-law, Manuel T. Hidalgo, husband of Saturnina, was banished for a second time to Bohol. On June 6, 1890, from Brussels, Rizal wrote a letter to his sister Saturnina. Presentation of death. In his moment of despair, Rizal had bad dreams during the night in Brussels. He dreamt that his friends and relatives were dead, and he descended by a path which he led him to the center of the earth, and where he met a multitude of persons seated, dressed in white, with white faces, silent and surrounded by white lights. Presentation to go home. Rizal decided to go home, and could not stay in Brussels writing a book while his parents, relatives and friends in distant Philippines were in despair. On July 9, 1890, Rizal wrote to Mariano Ponce, opposing Graciano's plan of action to go to Cuba. He said that Graciano should not go to Cuba to die of yellow fever, and instead, he ought to go to the Philippines to allow himself to be killed in defense of his ideals. In another letter to Mariano Ponce, dated July 18, 1890, he expressed his determination to go home. All his friends, including Blumentritt, Jose Maria Basa, and Mariano Ponce
were horrified by Rizal's plan to return to the Philippines.
on to Madrid instead of home. The letter of Pasiano, which related that they lost the case against the Dominicans in Manila, but they appealed in court in Spain. Hence, a lawyer was needed to handle it in Madrid, so it suddenly made Rizal change his mind to go to the Philippines. Rizal informed Del Pilar on June 20, 1890 that Rizal was going to Madrid in order to my muse, 1890. It was against a background of mental anguish in Brussels. During those sad days when he was worried by family disasters, that he wrote his pathetic poem, Ami. This poem lacks the exquisitely up to the flowers of Heidelberg and is less polished than the Filipino youth. Romance with Suzanne Jacobi. Two things brought some measure of cheer to the despondent Rizal as he was preparing for his trip to Madrid. First was the summertime festival of Belgium, which was celebrated in carnival style. Colorful costumes, fantastic floats, and many days of merriment. Second was his romance with Suzanne Jacobi, the petite niece of his landladies. Rizal was so charming and dignified a gentleman that Suzanne was attracted to him. He was lonely in a strange country, and Leonora Rivera was so far away. Naturally, being a normal young man, he found certain bliss in a company of a pretty Belgian girl. He might have flirted with Suzanne, but he could not stoop low to deceptive, amorous relationship. Like other women, Segunda Katigbak, Orang Valenzuela, Leonor Rivera, Osei San, Jetty Beckey, Consuelo Ortiga y Rey, and the Busted Sisters, Suzanne fell in love with Rizal. She cried when he left toward the end of July 1890 for Madrid, stopping for a few days in Paris.